Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Year the Batman. New series. We're now on to Batman Beyond. So, finally, on to a new chapter. So, speaking of new stuff, get a new haircut. Don't know if you noticed, but yeah. Um, anyway, enough of that. So, it starts off as a two-parter, and honestly, like, I can't even remember where the end of the first episode was and where the second episode begins. It all kind of flows really well together. So I'm just going to talk like it's one big episode. So the very first scene of the whole series is genuinely one of my favorites, just because of like how powerful it is. So you have an older Batman in the Batman Beyond suit, and he's dealing with a hostage situation. Meanwhile, on the radio, it's talking about how a man named Derek Powers has uh, been taken into Wayne Enterprise. Like they combined, so it's now instead of Wayne Enterprise or whatever Powers company was, it's now Wayne Powers. So super big companies and exposition. That's what it's doing. So anyway, Batman, he's taking care of the hostages. He's still kicking ass more than ever. But then some ruffian with a wrench comes down on him. He like sneaks up on him, and Batman obviously would take him out, but he's having really bad heart problems. Like I, it, I really think like he's having like a heart attack or something. Um, so he's getting his shit absolutely rocked, and then he becomes so desperate he like takes a gun that was knocked away on the ground and pulls it on the last guy, and the guy just runs away and he gets caught by the cops. So Batman, he's shooken up. He's like really heavily beaten. He's gotten heart problems and he's holding a gun. He like throws it away and he goes back to the Batcave and he turns all the lights off and he says never again. And it's so powerful, like to have a Batman pretty much reach retirement and to be pushed that far to actually hold a gun, because Batman is so very anti-gun because of the death of his parents, and for him to like hold one to like defend himself, it's just really good stuff. Really like sets the tone of, hey, it is the time of Bruce Wayne is over. So now it's like I think 20 years later, we're in Gotham and we're introducing the main character Terry McGinnis, and I will say I've seen the show before, I've seen the movie before. I genuinely adore this series. I think Terry McGinnis is a phenomenal act to follow with Bruce Wayne. He really is a true Batman in my eyes. He's just good. And how they introduce him as well. He's a bit of an asshole, but he's not a bully, and he'll like stick up for himself. So it shows him for the first time. He's on a train riding with a bunch of people, and this literal Joker, because apparently in the future, a lot of gang members have just called themselves the Jokers, and they're very well Joker esque, and they dress up like him or like a variety of like circus creatures. It's really dark because you think it's like that guy is a straight up domestic terrorist, and you guys are okay, whatever. I don't know. Just it feels like if somebody, who's that one famous serial killer? He had a girlfriend. Uh, I keep wanting to say Charles Darwin, and I know for a fact it's not Charles Darwin. It's not Charles Xavier. I feel like there's a famous Charles that was like a serial killer. It'd be like a bunch of people dressing up as him and being criminals. I don't know. It's just weird. So anyway, the guy's trying to rob this woman, and Terry absolutely beats his ass. I mean, shows throughout before he even becomes Batman, like what an absolute certified badass he is. So it later goes on where he's in a wrestling match with a man much bigger than him, and he's pretty much going toe to toe with him, and the guy like spits in his face at one point, and then Terry like throws the first punch, and the other guy like tries to go in and swing at him, and Terry's like kicked off the team, and like he gets in a lot of trouble at school for it. So that's kind of like his personality, just kind of a jerk, but will stand up for himself. Also, he has a girlfriend, Dana, and I just pretty much explained her personality. Dana is like, I really just had no positive or negative emotions on this character. She's just pretty and supportive and clueless and his girlfriend, and that's pretty much it. Honestly, there's another girl that's introduced later that I thought him and Max were for sure gonna get with each other, but that never happened. So what can you do? Um, so yeah, now it's later in the evening. It goes now to Terry's father, who works at uh, Wayne Powers Industries. I think it's called Wayne Powers Industries. And one of his friends, he's like, "Hey, Terry's dad. I can't remember his name. I need you to take care of this disc. It has some very important stuff on it." And then before he can like really go into much, the man is captured by one of the workers for Wayne Powers, and he Terry's dad sees that the guy that got captured has this like skin condition all around him, like on his back that's hidden and whatnot. So he gets taken off, but not before getting the disc. And uh, Mr. Powers, he calls him in, and he's just like, "Hey, just wanted to check in. That one guy who approached you, don't freak out. He did get exposed to some chemicals, so it made him kind of a little loopy. So everything's okay. You'll see him next Monday. And did he give you a file of some sort, maybe? Question mark." And Terry's ass like, "Yeah, no, definitely no, no, sirree, don't have anything like that." And he's like, "All right, fair play, go on." And he tells his assistant, he's like, "Yeah, he definitely has it. You better take care of that." So then it's later at night. Terry's dad is looking through the files, and he can't believe what he's seeing. Apparently, Wayne Powers is working on some kind of nerve toxin that pretty much just like leaves the victim completely out of it. Like it just kills him in like 2 hours. So very, very lethal stuff. So he's talking to Terry, and Terry's wanting to go out, but he's grounded because he got in a fight. And Terry's like, "Well, I didn't start that fight. I just finished that fight." And the dad's like, "Listen, I don't really have time for that." And then Terry explodes on him, calling him like a loser and like all this stuff. Kind of like the scene in Sam Raimi's Spider Man when like Toby goes off on Uncle Ben. It's kind of like that where you know there's love. It's just like something built up, and it was like the exact wrong thing to say for the last thing to say to somebody you love. Because he does die like a couple hours later. But Terry goes out and he meets Dana at this club, and a couple jokers show up at the line, and Terry is kicking their ass like nobody's business. I mean, he is strategically planning where like chains are being swiped at so it gets hooked on like lampposts, and like dodging and weaving and taking out guys on bikes. Like he's a certified badass. But then it comes to a point where he's getting overwhelmed and there's even more backup coming. So he gets on one of their motorcycles and then tries to run off, and his driving skills are incredible too. Like how he ducks and weaves and like goes off ramps and lands perfectly. Like you would think this guy's already Batman, which it does explain later on, kind of, but that's getting into spoilers. So he eventually gets chased all the way up to Wayne Manor, where he meets an 80-year-old Bruce Wayne, and the two of them fight off the Jokers pretty easily. And then Batman, well, not Batman, Bruce Wayne, he has a bit of a heart scare, so he gets Terry to bring him inside and get him his medicine. You also meet Ace the Bat Hound, which is really fun that they have him in the series. I think it was like such a missed opportunity that he wasn't in Batman the Animated Series, but it's nice to know that they brought him back for this series. Well, not brought him back, brought him into this series. So Terry gives Bruce the medicine, and Bruce just like passes out, and Terry's on his way out when he notices there's a bat in a clock. So he tries to get the bat out of there, but then lo and behold, he finds the fucking Batcave and finds out that Bruce Wayne is Batman, or was Batman. So Bruce, he sneaks up on Terry and he's like, "You better get the fuck out of here right now. Right now, you little shit." He's like, "All right, fine, fine." So Terry comes home and there's like Joker graffiti all over. His mom's there. His mom and dad are divorced, so that's why they weren't together. And turns out that the Jokers were trying to rob the dad and killed him. So yeah, the Terry, like the last thing he said to his dad was like how much of a loser he was and just disrespected. So the funeral happens, and after the funeral, he is just beating himself up. He feels so depressed about it, which is really, really good. Like, you don't want your character to be an asshole. You want them to do asshole things, but then when shit happens, them immediately like feel remorse and regret for that. So I think that was a really good thing what they did with Terry. So it also is like it hits harder to home where he like you know if he knew that was the last thing he was going to say to his dad, he would never in a million years say that. So as he's unpacking his dad's things, he finds the disc and he looks into it and he's like, "Oh shit, this is some bad stuff," because his dad hid it in a photograph of him and Terry. So he comes back to Bruce Wayne and he's like, "Hey, I found a disc that's connected to your company, and it is fucked up." So Bruce tells him to take it to Police Commissioner Gordon, not Jim, Barbara Gordon, which I think that's so sweet that like obviously she's not going to be Batgirl forever, and I could definitely see her going into the police field because I mean, just like her dad, and a lot of people would probably put that under nepotism, but I mean, Barbara Gordon is like an absolute certified badass. If anybody deserved the title of commissioner, 100% would be her. Not even like skipping a beat. Yeah. Um, so he's on his way to uh, take the disc to her when he's stopped by Derek Powers and his like I guess it's like his version of Oboe. I can't remember his name. I'll just call him Ricky. Just a big guy, and you can definitely tell he means business. So Ricky, he like holds him down, and Terry's like, all right, I'll give you the disc. Just let me go." So he like throws the disc up in the air, and he just runs the hell out of Dodge. Um, and then later that night, Bruce, he's wondering why Ace is acting so crazy, and he unties Ace, and he goes straight to the Batcave, and Ace notices that the newer Batsuit is gone because Terry just stole it, and he pretty much masters it like spawn on. He has like one crash, but other than that, he's he knows exactly what he's doing, which maybe that was like the point of the suit to just make it like user friendly. So he's hearing Powers and Ricky talk about everything, and then he later hears that Ricky was the guy that put a hit out on his father. So that like sends him over the edge. He's like, "Holy shit." And they're also talking about how they're delivering this nerve gas system to another country that's at war, and they're pretty much just gonna eliminate their enemy just like that with the nerve gas. So Terry, he tries to escape, and he's fighting some guards, and he's enjoying himself. And Bruce Wayne, he comes on the intercom. He's like, "You better get your ass back to my house right now." And he's like, "No, I'm having the time of my life." So he turns off the suit, which leaves like Terry completely paralyzed. And he lets him get his ass beat for like a good couple minutes. Then he turns it back on, and he gets there, and or no, he turns back out and like excuses himself somewhere, and he's like, "Listen, I'll return the suit, but I have to take care of the shipment thing. I just found out that this was the guy that killed my dad, and I read up on you, and I know your parents got murdered, so please let me do this for my dad." And I'm just like, Terry, you're playing right into his heartstrings. Like, you knew exactly what to say, Bucko. So Bruce, he's like, all right, fuck it, you go on ahead. So he goes on to take care of that shipment. Ricky, he leaves in like some kind of big ass plane, I guess, and Derek Powers, he stays behind to like take on Batman. So two get fighting, and eventually he's exposed to the nerve toxin, which yeah, Batman doesn't really even do anything about it. He just is like flies on to chase the plane, which he does, and he fights Ricky, and then he crashes the plane into the water, destroying the shipment, and presumably Ricky with it. I really can't remember what happens to him. Later that evening, you see Derek Powers. He's on an operating table. He didn't get fully exposed to the chemicals because one of the cures for it is like it's like extreme heat and extreme radiation. So they introduced radiation into his body, but it worked a little too well, so now his entire body is coated with radiation and he looks like a living skeleton. It's really cool. Like his design looks really sick, which I will say a lot of the Batman Beyond designs look really good. Yeah, they were cooking with a lot of this. So it's the next day. Powers is kind of coming a little bit under fire for like the nerve toxin and whatnot. The Powers is like yet to be seen publicly, and Bruce Wayne comes along to Terry's door, and he comes in, talks to his mom, and he's like, "I have a job to offer for you. It's to be my assistant and do what I tell you and be a gopher for me." So he's like unofficially, officially under the table, inviting him to be the next Batman, and that's where the episode ends. Um, but yeah, excellent start to a series, like a great way to end. How Bruce finally just like calls it quits. It's nice that like they didn't do this like grandiose thing. It's just like just a typical case, and everything went to shit, and he like barely got out of it alive. Like that's a great way to do it. Terry, he's very hot headed, but like he's not so dumb enough to know when to cool down and whatnot. The bat suit looks really awesome. I love like the lack of the cape and that red bat symbol on it. It looks so good, and like the really elongated ears look really good, and just its capabilities are really badass. Dana's there. She certainly is there. The old uh, disgruntled Bruce is so good. Love Bat Hound. Um, but yeah, just overall, really, really good stuff. I'm trying to think if there's anything I like don't like about this episode. Well, episodes because it's a two-parter. Um, I'm really trying to think. It's really good stuff. You know, I think I'll give it its flowers. I will give this a solid 7 out of 7. Mostly just for the like the first scene. That is a absolute standout scene for me. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, can't wait to get through the rest of the series. It's gonna be a blast. Bye bye.